Hi, today we are going to continue our Autodesk Revit Architecture Elementary course. Specifically today we're going to have Unit 3, the second lecture. We're going to continue talking about modeling. So previously we talked about non-material based modeling, and today we're going to continue the second part of the material modeling, or material based modeling. So in Unit 3, Unit 1, Lecture 1, we talked about non-material system, and now on Unit 3, Lecture 2, or the second part of the modeling, we're going to talk about material-based modeling. And in this lecture, we are actually going to talk about what type of material, or what the meaning of the material-based. We're going to see the concept of monolithic walls, multi-material walls or complex walls, wall functions, and it's actually wall layers functions, just a typo here, editing families, and then basic stairs, material based floors, and open a hole in a floor, and finally open a material based making a material based two-story building. So let's go and see. This is again another simple example, and I just quickly built that. I just want to show you that this is the actual material here, and that's the wall, that's a brick, and just to see, that's the monolithic wall, so just made of one material, while this guy here made of a group of layers. And that's what we have to again focus on. It's if you can see the section of the wall, it's just more than one layer. It's a complex wall, or multi-layer walls here. And the wall function here, that's also, I'm going to explain that for you, and a couple of other steps we're going to show you. I'm going to show you how to make this the external walkway, a specific place for a garden area, the fence, and also how to make a hole in this slab so we can create the basic stairs in it. Anyway, same thing with the slabs. We're gonna have, or we're gonna do like as we did here. We're gonna do a complex multi-layers slab or floor actually. So let's go and do that. So I'm gonna just save that and just close it. And now I'm going to the Revit main application menu, the new project, browse, and then in the US metric, I'm gonna just pick default metric, and then with the project I'll say OK. And again here I'm going to make a 6x6 grid, and again it's a millimeter. It's a good idea to go to manage before you just jump in and create anything. Project and double check it's in millimeters. Anyhow, that's the grid. So I'm gonna go here, 3 grids, and I'm making a very basic and very simple building just to illustrate the idea, or just to explain the idea of materials or non-material, as I did last lecture. And then we're gonna jump, and after you finish this basics, I'm gonna give you much more complicated examples as an architectural work. I just need to keep the forms as simple as I could, so you don't get distracted with the design. Just need to make sure 100% you understand the form, the functions of those commands. And then we're gonna jump and work with a little bit more complicated geometries. And now the horizontal ones. So again, I'm gonna change this into an A, make that double, and this time I'm gonna just copy this down 6,000 millimeter, and again 6,000, and again this one is 6,000. Just double that by checking this temporary dimension, change it into a permanent one, push that up, and the same thing here. Select this guy and make it a permanent dimension. Probably it's a good idea to make this a little bit less, and here a little bit less. That's actually too tall, so probably less. So that's my grid. It's been set here. I'm just gonna close the ceiling. Again, east elevation. And again, we need to organize this. I'll keep the default height as a 4. And I'm gonna just raise this a little bit. I'm not gonna use this American way of naming. Let's just name this ground floor and make this first floor. And hit yes to change the corresponding names. Probably we need to create another level here. And again, I'm gonna set it 4. Make sure to start and end exactly where you see the vertical dashed line, so they make them actually all aligned and organized. So that's my roof actually. And again, except the renaming or automatic rename. So that's it. We created the level here quickly. We expressed this, or we explained this, sorry, in the last lecture. So I just did that quickly, as you see. You might not. So I'm gonna go to ground floor. And here we go. So if you go to walls, the previous lecture we talked about generic system, and in the generic it's a non-material based, so there is no actual or physical material in it. So if you go edit type, you see inside this guy here nothing, as you can see. So that's actually the type of structure is by category, so it doesn't have any actually physical material in it. And you can see that there is no resistance or no thermal mass at all. It's been just left. That type of wall, again, we can use it in the beginning phase of the design. It's just a concept wall where you don't care about what's inside. You just need double line to represent the whole thing in the plan, and just a form or just a mass to work with in your 3D design. You can go here and navigate any types of a 3D, like a block or multi-stud, a masonry here wall, lots of other material that have, lots of other walls actually that have a physical material. It's a single material or a complex multi-layer of an architectural component within the same wall. But again, you are not allowed actually to create a wall outside the project environment. So you have to take one of those and then change it. Just pick whatever one of those, just have a look, open it, go to edit type and see what type of materials it's actually been provided. You can just change that, and actually you have to duplicate first. So you can take a copy of this and then start working on it and see if it suits you actually. Better than start from scratch, and which I actually prefer to start from scratch rather than duplicating, but again, it's a technique of work. So for us in today's lecture, I'm going to focus on the use of a material-based walls or material-based modeling. So the material-based walls, actually, we had our, let's look at the first material or the first wall, which is with a single material. So when you go here, edit type, you're going to see the name is very obvious. It's just a brick. So when you get to edit here, you're going to see just one material actually here, and it's inside the structure, and it's made of brick. Hit the preview here to see it, and you zoom in. You're going to see even there is a hatch here, so it represents for an international well-known hatching system for the brick, which shows double lines. So that's what we call it generally a monolithic material, or a single material or single layer or one layer of material for that wall, which is actually a physical or a material-based wall. And you can see that there's a physical properties of that, the thermal mass and that the resistance for it. So that's our first type, which is basically very easy. And I'm going to depend on this one to make the parapets. So again, very similar, everything similar. Even when you design it, you need to create a wall center line very similar to the generic system or non-material system. I'm just going to close that. So let me show you the other types, which is I prefer actually. Let's have a look at this again. Exterior multi-block on a multi-stud. So edit type. Look how many layers you can find. Then you reach the core, and then the inside finishes. That's the exterior, and that's the internal part. So if you zoom in, you're going to see much more complicated wall here. That's what we call it a complex wall, or a multi-vertical layer of actual physical walls. But it's really much more complicated, and it's really much more accurate here, and that's the calculation. It's really complicated or complex architectural component. So you can go ahead and change those thicknesses if you like. Of course you have to duplicate first, but I prefer to start from scratch. So I'm just going to go cancel and cancel again. So let me assume that I'm going to use like a brick or CMU here wall, and it also have an external finishes. So I'm gonna go here in the wall, and let me pick something with a masonry unit like this one. So I'm just gonna pick that. And the most important rule to remember when you want to design any type of wall is to keep whatever Revit have in its own library as it is, and go to edit type and then duplicate, and you have to go. That's my own way of naming. So let me name it as a 50 mil of brick, let's say, and then I will go for like 30 mil of Secured, and then underscore I'm gonna go with 150, or even let's go 200 CMU, which is a concrete masonry unit. And you can just go here and double M, and then finally I can go underscore again, and then 20 mil of a gypsum board. I think the standard is 13, but it's just me assuming the whole thing. And I highly advise you to put the name of you here after that, so you can know that later on when you design that, you know that this wall is being created by you, so you can use it and depend on it more, because just the one you created. Anyway, I'm gonna go okay. I know it's a little bit annoying and long name, but I prefer that. So when I look, I know it's just a 50 mil brick with a Secured, and then 200 mil blah blah blah, all the detail here shown, rather than me clicking the wall and then go edit the structure to understand what's made of. So make the name detailed so you know what it's all about. If you think it's too long, again, just remove the millimeters thing. I'll hit cancel again. Just remove the millimeter, probably just like that, maybe easier and shorter. See, better to understand, so you know it's brick, Secured, CMU, and then gypsum board. Zoom in. Yes, you can see that's a hatch, and that's the basic clue for you that it's actually a physical material base. It's not a non-material as we have in the previous lecture. And then you go to structure. If you didn't have this open, just hit the preview. It's gonna show you the section. You can even switch in here into a plan view if you want. I'll just prefer section. So in structure, hit edit and see. You see these two layers here, 1 and 3, and they are grayed. You cannot change them, and they represent like a nylon, or like a cover page here, one here and one here, and they are actually to specify and identify where is the core, and the core here in between them. Anything put as a single layer, or a complex of a group of layers, all of them will be considered as a structural part, as long as they are put between the two layer of the core boundary. That's important for you later on when you go to Revit structure and make the weight transfer and the calculation for the structural aspects. For us now, it's not really a big deal, but I highly advise you to keep that correctly from the beginning. And note that this is the first material, and it's been ranked by number 1. We call that a wall function materials. And the wall function material, again, it's very important to understand its priority, and I'm gonna express that more detail in the next lecture. But when you see structure, you're gonna find that it's always number 1. The other actually function are substrate, which is again less important, thermal air less important, and then finish 4, which is again less priority, and it always represent for an exterior material, while this one is used for material that finishes actually put in the inside. So 4 exterior, and number 5 is interior. Substrate is any material you use to fix or to glue the finishes to the construction or to the other material. And thermal layer and membrane, I think it's just obvious as the name goes. So I'll go structure because that's a really structural thing. And if you have a look at the material here, it's just a concrete masonry unit. And that's what I want with the CMU. And instead of the 140 default gained by the thickness of that wall, I'll just make it to 200. Just to follow what I've done, and hit enter and note that the thickness of the wall is actually increased. I'll a little bit scroll that down to zoom out, select this again, and then hit insert to add another layer. Notice that this is like an indication here, a blue line shown here. It's inside the core between this one and this one, and we don't want that. I just need to make this as a separate, and again just hit up. Now see, it's outside the core. That's what we want. That's the right thing, because it's just a separate. It isn't gonna carry any weight of the building. So that's the first thing. So what is it? It's not a structure. Sorry. The function of that, it isn't a structure here. So I'll choose substrate. Some people actually use finish 4 because it's located to the outside of the core, and it's also correct. So I'll just go substrate, and in the material I know it's a separate, so here just click here once, and then just hit CON for concrete, and then Revit gonna just suggest for you whatever material you have in this with this letters. So cast in situ is okay. Here, that's the most accurate one. It's a cement with or cement separate. Just double click on that, and the thickness of it, as the name suggesting, let's go 30, and hit enter, and see. Now we have a bluish or a new material here. If you just deselect or select this one again, that will be blue, and really nice to understand. And then if you hit here, you're gonna see that's the green line here. And it's actually, you're gonna see green lines on both sides, which represent those core boundary in a step-by-step condition. Anyway, let's go back to this one, which is the separate. I'm just gonna select it again. Again, notice it's getting blue. Another insert, and this time it's an exterior, and it's exterior finish material. So I'm gonna have 4. And the material, as we indicate, that is a brick. So just brick, here we are, and that's my brick, and the thickness of that we assume it's 50, and that's what we want. See, it's gonna create for us a new material. I'm gonna select the structure again, insert, and I'm gonna now push it down twice to get it down here. This guy is here, and it should be a gypsum board. So, and it's to the inside, so it's finish 5. Each time you go finish 2 or -5 here, actually it represents that it's an inside material. So again, pick here for the material, just write GY, and you're gonna get gypsum wall board. That's what I want. Double click, and then the thickness, which we assume to 20, and voila, you can see that's the wall we're looking for. So again, see this, those are the cores. Whatever between is a core. This is an inside material. That's a substrate. That's a brick, which is both of them are an external material. That's the section of our wall, and you can see that Revit automatically calculate the thermal resistance and the thermal mass, the total thickness. That's really pretty, by the way, when you do, and important when you do an energy analysis in Revit. Anyway, that's too early for that. Let's just go okay. And now notice that this is the thickness. That's the core before we go okay, actually, and that's what we call it here again, core. So it's from here to here, and this here, somewhere here, will be its core center line. And notice that there is more material to the outside, they are thicker than the material goes to the inside. So if you depend on wall center, the wall center will be here, while the core center will be here. That's really important to distinguish between them. So the wall center line, just you have to ignore whatever inside and take this point to this point, divide it on 2 to get somewhere here, while the core center line is exactly in this point. So it's in the middle of the distance between this core and this core boundary. Let's have a look of what I'm trying to tell you. Let's have a look at it in a better way. So if I keep this, as we said, as a coarse detail, and I hit here, notice what I'm trying to draw. Now it didn't show any details that we spent like 10 minutes designing. It just gave me 2 lines. That's why, because that's actually happened because I picked this as a course, so it doesn't care what inside, just 2 lines for the outside. And see, wall center line is actually the option. So divide the distance from that point to that point on 2 to get you the wall center line. Rather, if you have again wall, and notice that if you put or hover the mouse above, you can see that there's 2 important reference plane. This guy is the actual wall center line, while this guy is something else. That's what I try to explain for you. It's a core center line. So in order to see the things in a better way, actually you must select this one and go to Find, allowing Revit to show you what actually have been created as a complex materials. And see the scary thing. See that this is the wall, this point is the wall center line. While this is not really correct, we should place and we should create the wall based on its core center line, which is specifically here in the mid distance between the core end and the core start. So in order to fix the things, let us first compare. So I will pick up this one, which is the core center line, which is the correct thing, and I draw one here, and see, I'll hit space just to make the external finish goes to the outside, and then click. See the difference between both? That's a wall center line, which is inaccurate. That's a core center line. This is the load bearing part of my wall. So that what actually you should pick when you design your wall. And see the difference. Now I know it might sound crazy or different because this is not the center of the entire wall, and that's so right, and that part is actually should follow the center line of the grid, because that's the actual load barrier part of it. This from here to here and from this point to this point is just a finishes. It doesn't have to carry any weights anymore. So anyway I'm gonna delete both. Let's do it correctly now. So again, core center line, click, and you have to see the intersection before you click. Otherwise, here in the beginning it might be easier for you, but later on it will cost you lots of trouble if you don't follow this. You must follow this step. Don't click unless you see the intersection thing here. So now another annoying issue. So move your hand to the right. See, see that now it's been proposed to be correct, and the external layers, which is a brick, and the secret is to the outside, while the gypsum board to the inside. Careful if you do it the other way around like that, and the brick will be inside and the gypsum will be outside. That's very wrong. So yes, it differs if you go to counterclockwise or the other way around. So be careful. Anyway, zoom in a little bit. See, now we're doing it okay. You saw the intersection. Click. I'm just gonna draw a very basic square here, noticing and seeing the intersection, very similar to what we have in the previous example. And look now how pretty it's gonna fill it itself. And see the wall functions and the hierarchy. See the wall core, which is this how it's been trimmed and cleaned, and I have its highest priority because it's a structure. That's why we give it 1. While this one again been trimmed, that's the least actually, and the rest of them is also on the same thing. You're gonna understand that when you just stretch that more like that, and you're gonna see that again that's number 1. That's number 4, so it have higher priority than this one, which is number 5. So number 5 with number 5 will have a full trim. That's so clean it is. But when you have number 4 and this is number 5, again it's going to show you a line, and this one will have the priority to go through and touch number 1, while this one will be trimmed. And that's because this is 4 and that's number 5. Anyway, I'm going to try to show you or explain that more in a further lecture. Anyway, related lecture. So that's my walls. So again, 3D, hover here, tab, click, and then go to first floor, hit apply, zoom in. See, now that's an actual material, and that's really nice. That's a really a physical wall, material-based wall. Anyway, if by accident you have this case, which is the gypsum board to the outside while the brick to the inside, again, don't need to freak out, just select it and hit space. It's gonna flip the wall for you quickly. That's nice. Now let's go again to the ground floor, and in the ground floor I'm gonna go floor, and I'm just gonna design the same thing. I'm just gonna create a slab or a floor that have a physical material. So I'm gonna accept this generic non-material based, hit edit type, and then duplicate it. Here I'm gonna use tiles, and let's go 30mm tiles, for example. And after that, let's go 20mm securite, and then let's say 150 concrete. Just hit OK, and then edit type. So that's the structural part. And again, we said it's 150, so it's happy coincident. Hit this and specify concrete. I'll have this cast in situ concrete. Happy with that. Select insert and push it up. So this time that's a horizontal element. So the structure, that whatever you push above it is here, and it's gonna be having a higher priority than this one. So again, we're gonna go for number 4, and here I'm gonna pick a securite, and here I'm gonna choose here how much we said here, 20mm. Now you have to be careful. Now you created this, and in or by the design of any horizontal elements, especially with the floors or slabs, you have to be very careful. Now I am intending to make this in the ground floor, so this here, nothing beneath, it's gonna touch the dirt here, while this here will be facing the inside. Now if this is facing inside, that's what happened if I'm designing this for the lowest slab or the lowest floor, which is sitting on the ground floor. So this number 4 isn't the correct thing to be used, because this is if you want to make it in the roof, for example, or the highest slab. This is an external finishes, so it should be 5 in this case. And of course the one you can use that for a substrate. It's up to you. It's because it's actually the one who carries the final tiles, which is this one, or the final finishes is this one. Anyway, both are correct. Again, insert. Let's check this to finish 5. Again, it's an internal one. And here I'm gonna just hit tiles, and I'll go ceramic tiles here, and it's 30mm. And again, lovely business. See, it's 200, automatically calculate the entire thickness, and it's giving you the resistance and the thermal mass. And again, this is an internal side, that's why this is 5, and that's a substrate, you know, it could be 5. Nothing here because we have dirt, so I'm not going to add anything. You can add membrane or any kind of insulation material. It's up to you anyway. So I'll just go OK, and OK again, and again, pick wall, hover, tab, and click, and see, it's actually automatically selecting the external face of the core. Isn't external, it isn't selecting the external face of the wall, and that's the right thing, by the way, but for me I'm gonna ignore it now. I don't want to complicate my work now, and in the next lecture I'm gonna explain for you in more detail how to make a correct joining. So for now I'm just gonna use an align command explained last lecture, and I know it's gonna be a little bit ugly to see the slab like this. Let's just assume that for the sake of this lecture. In the next lectures I will explain for you how to join it and hide it behind. I'm just making this just to make it easier, just like let's look like basic model here. Anyway, so now again back to the ground floor. This time I need to create a slab or a floor between those two levels. So you know, like it's a roof for the ground floor, and it's a lower slab here for the first floor. So in this case it's different. So when I go to floor, that one is not really working as it is. So I'm going to hit edit type, and I'm going to hit duplicate again, and I need to add another let's say like 20 mil of gypsum board to face the inside part of the building, or to be used as a nicer material in the ceiling. So hit OK, and then hit edit type, and you can just come here and insert the material and push it down. And again, that's the scary business here. First I'm gonna pick the material. I know I should pick the wall function, so I'll just go gypsum here, and I pick that, and I said it's 20, so it's 20. Now another thing you have to consider, now this is the material I'm going to use. That part of it will be facing the exterior, that part would be face the interior, because here will be nothing, it's just a roof here. And this part again, we are going to be it's actually an interior space, and because that's the roof for the ground floor, and that should be an interior business here, interior finishes here. So I'm gonna select this one and I make it number 5, while this guy should be number 4. And you know, like I'm just flipping this. This is an external. That will be an air here, while this will be the ground floor. So that's an internal finish. Hit OK. Hit OK again. Again, hover, tab, click, and I will align that to the external. I know it's gonna be shown. You might not be like it now. It's okay. We're gonna express joining vertical and horizontal elements in next lecture. So again, before you go ahead, just hit its location to be first floor, hit apply, and then check that. Pick yes to join the walls to the slab above, and that's what we got, which is really pretty. That's what I want. I know you might hate this, and you said the wall should be passing this only the brick. I know, and that's what we're going to do in next lecture. The problem here, you might say that if you're going to build something here or here, this slab should be divided. I agree, and I do that sometimes by pushing this that way. So this is the part where, let's say I want to build here a building. So this side is actually facing the air, which is an external finish, while the other point here is where is the internal finishes. If we build something here, so in this case, this part of the slab, this tiles is also considered as an internal. So this is an internal and the other one is an internal. Yes, you can do that, by the way, and it's more accurate than what I'm doing now, and I can show it to you. Anyway, I'm just going to ignore this just to make it a little bit easier. We're probably going to do that in the next lecture, to divide this to make it more accurate. For now, I'm just going to assume that all that for external and all the other face of the slab is an internal, which is different from the one that we did here. Anyhow, let's go to the first floor, and again wall, and the same wall that I have. Just zoom in. Here you have to be careful and must see this. See, you must see the intersection. Make sure that's core. Must see intersection. Don't fall in this trap. That is not what you want. Don't follow the endpoints here. See, like this, and also go the same direction here, that way. And again, notice that if I click here, even outside, I don't see anything, no details. And we spoke about that before. It's a different view, so you have to make sure, sorry, to make it fine, you know, like in order to see the things, the layers. I'm gonna delete that, repeat the whole business again. Zoom, see the intersection, click. Now you see the layers, see the brick to the outside, so you know you are going correctly. And then zoom in here. Again, when you see the intersection, don't fall in this trap. See the intersection and then click. Let's stop it till B. And then to the other side, again, careful. That's the core center line, that's the wall center line for the wall beneath. Don't fall in this trap. Otherwise, you're gonna have a wall that's not really vertical. See, now go to 3D. Ugly long walls, I know. Just click them with the hover and chain thing, and then go to roof and hit apply to fix the issue. So in the first floor, you might notice a little bit of some mistakes, which is this is not being shown. It's okay, just click them and show the bubbles here. Now we need another slab here. Pick walls, hover, tab, click, and then with the align, forcing the slab to sit outside. Don't fall in the trap and pick the tiles here lines. They are kind of annoying sometimes. And place this correctly on the roof, hit apply, and then accept this to attach the walls of the first floor to the roof. Go to the 3D, that's what we want. Lovely. Now, again to the east elevation, copy this guy. So as we said, to make it just a level without a floor, let's make it 1000. And let's select this guy again and copy it. And zoom in. It's cutting itself, overlapping, so make that break, push it up. And let's call this FF_parapet. And this guy also break it, push it up, and just change that to roof parapets. Now they are grade, as we say. That means they don't have a floor, they're just levels. Back to the first floor. Take our monolithic wall that we said. That's we said we're gonna take this one, 900 mil brick. I'll just edit, duplicate, and I'm gonna name it 900 mil brick. Actually, I'm gonna make it 100 mil, so just easier. And I'm gonna add my name to it to the end. So now that I change it, change this guy to 100 mil. Zoom in to see what you've got. Hit OK, and then here again you have to be very careful how to place it. So if you go wall center or core center, they will be the same thing because it's just a monolithic or a single wall, a single material wall. So if you go like this, half of the wall will follow the edge, half of the wall will be outside the edge, and the other half will be inside. That's a so wrong thing. So hit escape and come here and pick its placement or wall location based on a finish exterior. Hit apply. So when you click, you see it's gonna be on the other side, all of it in the middle of air. If you hit the space, it's gonna be placed correctly, or you'll be much more patient and go to the other side. Just click it like that, you know, whatever make you happy. Just select those things and go with the points where it meets the walls. Great. Now again, too high, too scary. With tab, select them all, and then here on the top constraint, just go first floor parapet, hit apply. Repeat the same painful experience here in the roof. So I'm gonna go wall, finish exterior or whatever. Again here, before you click, just see if it's gonna place correctly, and it is actually. Same thing here. Same thing here. And then to the tab, again scary high. Unconnected top constraint to the roof parapet, and hit apply. That's what we want. See, so far so good. That's what we actually intended to do in the 3D. Again, beautiful. Now let's go to the ground floor again, and I'm gonna make a walkway, a 2-meter walkway. So again, floor, and now pick up whatever we have, anything with concrete. Maybe this one, 225. Nah, let's go with it. This time I'm not going to depend on picking wall or picking lines. I'm just going to go a line. So randomly place lines like this, this, again, this, and this. Again, click, see this template dimension, measure it from here to the face of the wall, make it a 2000. Repeat this for all. And when you finish, just go and trim that. Now, I need this to be lower, at a lower level than the floor finish. I don't want it to be sitting in the zero, in the same level, which is 0 here. So its offset should be in the minus. So let's say maybe minus 100 here, and hit OK. Go to 3D. Again, 3D. I need to see this, the slab. When we're gonna finish this issue, we said I'm gonna show it to you how the brick goes down. You're supposed to see the brick actually touching the walkway, which is the correct thing. But again, that's what I want for now. This is really important if you want to open the door here without any canopy, so the rain doesn't go inside. So the outside walkway should be or must actually be having lower level than whatever inside. So again, if I look down, I will see that, hang on, the slab goes all the way under this. So if I delete it, there's another slab. So 2 slabs, it isn't okay, it's not right. Select this guy and hit edit boundary and go back to the ground floor. And in reality, we don't need anything to be, we don't need the walkway to be under the slab. So just pick lines this time and take this, and again this line and this line. When you use this guy, the pick lines, make sure their ends meet. Otherwise, you're creating an open thing like this. You must make it move. This is really wrong. So trim, which is I think here, that's the hotkey, or TR. Click here and click here to close it. Check the whole corners, and in this case 4. Now the concrete will be pulled here as a donut here. All that will be excluded from the walkway, and that's the right thing. So let's see that. And again, in 3D, you're never gonna find any difference. But if you select this guy and isolate him, so you can see him by himself, see, lovely, that's what we want. And if we reset and see under the building, that's what we want actually. So that's been done. Let's go again to the ground floor. Let's build a fence here, but before, let's assume that there is a garden of, again, 3 meters here. So again, edit boundary, and I'm gonna select this guy, push him back, and take this, make it copy from any point here down. Let's say how much? Let's say 3. Let's try 3. And trim this guy and this guy. take a copy of this that way, and let's go, I don't know, 6, 5, and trim this guy with this guy, this guy with this guy. So that's my slab. Finish. See, while this, I'm gonna add just another floor here, but later on I can add different material to it, and just like pick line here, this guy and this guy, and then draw lines where you don't have the rest, like this. And if this is minus 100 or something, let me make this minus 200, okay, or 150 maybe. So when you go into 3D, that's see, just a way to express the existence of a lower platform, which is can just later on add a material to it, to be dust or grass or whatever. Final touch, let's go with wall, and again I'm gonna use this 100mm brick, and yes, this time I don't want it to sit on the slab, I want it to sit outside on the dirt to make my building fence. That's what I want, and probably here also. So lovely. So if you go drag that down, oh, just ignore that, or I can just undo what I've done. Yeah, anyway, now this guy is too high again, so I will assume that this is having an unconnected 2000, let's make it 1000 high. But the issue in this guy again is it's now flying in the air. So if I had DI, which is dimension aligned, you go here, annotation and dimension aligned, and measure how much I need to push it to be lower than the lowest point, 375 anyway. Crazy number you gain by different, or the thickness of this, which is, I don't know, 225 anyway. So I'm gonna push that in a minus 375 or whatever. So hit apply. It's a little bit low, so I'll make it 1500. See, now it's actually lower. That's what I want. Should go actually lower than that and touch the footing or the foundation you have, or whatever. I'm not gonna model that exactly. And again, this I will cover it in a different tutorial, how to make a ramp here and then connect it to the street, and how to model the curb with its curves, and even for the neighbor how to model their building, and to allocate the whole thing with an inclined line, inclined site actually. But for now I'm gonna stop so far with the landscape work. Anyway, now we need some doors, and when you create doors, I'm not gonna just it goes with the single guy. I'm just going here and load, and with the metric system again, just go double door here, and don't again pick anything with the name of curtain. So I'm gonna go with this one. Let me have something like this guy, 1800 by 2100, and now I have a nice door here. But let me say again, I don't like this 2100. Let's assume I want it to be 2.2 meters. So again, edit type, and again remember not to change this, just duplicate, make this 22 here, and add your name so you know that you did this change. And that's the 1800, that's the 2100, make it 2200, hit apply, and come here and add the door. You can add it in the 3D or in 2D, whatever you want. That's the door for you. And again, in this tutorial, I didn't accept happily whatever Revit provide me. So let's do the same thing with windows. So let's load different types. So go to window. Again, see what types you have, not really much anyway. yeah, maybe this. So again, edit type, and then duplicate, and probably we're gonna go for 2000 by 150, and again underscore and then your name. So the height will be 1500. Default cell, let's make it, I don't know, 700. So with the 1500 will be 2.2 better, and the width should be 2000, and hit OK. And now you can add that. That's your cell, and that's maybe here, and same thing here and here. You need, I think, to go to the south elevation to see what you're doing, and I think it's okay. If you want even the frames to be aligned, so again, you know what to do. Just select this guy and pick a line. Careful when you do that, because you are framing, you are aligning the frames, not the actual architectural opening of the whole thing. So whatever, like this. Anyway, same thing here. Again, align. You can go multiple align. So select this guy, tick here and tick here. Get better results. See, and go ahead and add other details here. So in this lecture we learned more about multiple wall, multiple layer, or a complex wall, monolithic walls, which a wall that have a single material, and both are actually physical or material based wall. Same thing with the slabs, and we learn how to make walkways and how we control their height, how to make a garden, how to make fences, and how to control or understand actually the difference between the core center and the wall center, and the need to create the parapet facing the external face. So now we need just to create our stairs, so it should be here anyway, between this level and between the ground here. So I need to open a space for it first, and or actually let's design the stair first and then we see. So I'm gonna go to the ground floor, and in the ground floor I'm gonna go architecture and then go to stairs, this one. Okay, and that's the only topic is actually left here, and just assume that I'll keep the run. So just click here and zoom in, and you're gonna notice that it tells you that it needs actually 15 remaining and 7 created, so the overall is 22. And if you click, it's gonna create a linear or a straight flight from a ground floor to the first floor. You can create something like this, reading how much, see how it increased, make that 10, and create the other one here like this. Anyway, let's have a look in 3D how you can make a straight and a U shape. It's very nice to design the stairs. It's really a little bit, you know, see how nice. That's the straight one, and that's the L-shaped one. You can make any type of shapes you want. So if you go to stairs, you can just make an L shape, for example. That's the run. Let's go here and see. That's tell you, for example, 8, 9, 11 remaining. So 11 created and 11 remaining. So that's the first flight. You can go here, for example, and create the next 11. That's what you want. That's an L shape, for example. Again, whatever you think suitable for you, like that. Go to the ground floor, and here I'm gonna create a stair here. So that's my first flight here. So let's make 11 here, and then I will make another 11 here. Probably that's all I need. We need actually more time actually, and we're gonna have lots of other exercise of how to do stairs in more details. I'll just keep it in the middle of the space. I'm not gonna align it anyway. So you go to 3D, and of course you're not gonna see anything because it's in the middle of the whole thing. So I'm gonna hit that wall, and I'm gonna hit here. I'm gonna choose to hide that category. Okay, as you can see, so all walls disappear. If you go undo, you can just hide the element itself. So just that wall that could block you from the whole thing, you can hide maybe those with it, I don't know, just to allow you to work, or you can hide the entire category, whatever you want anyway. So select this guy and hit edit boundary to change and actually to open a hole in it. I'm gonna go to the first floor. Let's finish this. Just go to rectangle here and draw a guy from here to here, and that's it. Yes, and now if you go to 3D, you actually created a hole here, and of course you need later on to create here another another handrail here or baluster here to prevent people from falling. But technically now you remove the slab here, so there is no danger that to hit your head when you go up with this. Now you are happy with this, just go here and hit reset, and then everything gonna get back to its correct shape. You can go here and wireframe the whole thing just to understand if you like. Anyway, shaded. So technically that's most of the topic here. It's again a little bit more advanced and a very simple building. Lots of people goes here, right click, it's a nice trick, orient view, and then go, no, we don't have section yet, so probably, and again we're going to create section in more detail later on, but it's even if just click this section and just click whatever you want and go that way. That's the magic of Revit. Just double click on that and you get your own section ready for you in a couple of seconds. Anywho, go to 3D, right click here, orient view with sections, and go section 1, and then again press the 3D. That's powerful thing here to make a 3D section or sective. Push that back. See how lovely it is to see the whole cut for yourself. You can take like a slice of this building, oops, like this. See how beautiful it is, you know. We call that section box anyway. I'll try to give you more detail and example about that in a later lecture. Anyway, that's enough for this for today. I wish that you find this tutorial helpful. Thank you for listening and have a good day. Bye.